Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and welcome to my 26 books for 2026. So I really wasn't sure how I wanted to organize this. I have a handful of new releases that I'm really looking forward to that I wanted to add to this list, but I wanted to have books off of my physical TBR as well. So I ended up splitting it up kind of into categories. There's no specific rhyme or reason to this. It's just the way that it played out and I stuck with it. I like this list. So we're gonna split it up into categories. We have our new releases, rereads, authors I need to read it from again, books I've been putting off, and books that I'm really looking forward to. So first, let's talk about my 9 new releases. So I have my journal right here, so that way I can keep track of everything. But my 9 new releases. The first one is Harvest Season by Bryn Weaver. Big surprise here. This is the second book to Tourist Season. I read this as soon as it came out and I loved it. This is just like her Ruinous Love trilogy with Butcher and Blackbird. It's so much fun. It's separate, but there are little Easter egg elements to it, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to continuing on with the series, see what happens next. I love Bryn Weaver, so of course that one is going to be on my list, and it comes out on June 9th. So that one will be on my 26 books for 2026. Hopefully I'll be able to read it as soon as it comes out. The next one of my new releases is going to be Bloodsinger. This is by Juliet Cross. This is the second book to Firebird. Now, I know this book was extremely controversial when it came out, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars when I read it. I liked it a lot, and I want to continue with it. So this one is Dragon Shifters. There is a slave and master aspect with the main characters, which isn't my favorite, I will say that, but overall, I liked the books. I had the Spartacus vibes and I enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. So the second book comes out on April 7th. So I'm hoping to get to that one and read that one as well in 2026. The next new release that I'm looking forward to is The Wrath Gods Reap. This is the third and final book in the, what is that series called? In the Things Gods Break, the Crucible series by Abigail Owens. That one comes out on November 17th, so it's going to be cutting it pretty close, but I'm really looking forward to it. I have the second book, but I have not read it yet. I haven't even looked at it to see if I need to do a reread of the first one, but I did love the first one, and I bought the second one as soon as it came out. So I am putting the third one on here, and hopefully I will be able to get to it before the end of the year. The next new release I have is Erebus 13 by David Wellington. This is the third and final book in his, what's the series called? I don't remember what it's called. It's the Paradise 1 series. This is a sci-fi series that I've enjoyed. It's not my favorite. I wish the aliens and like that stuff was more like alien-esque, but I have enjoyed it, and so I've given the first 2 books 4 stars, and I'm really curious to see how it wraps up, and like I said, I really enjoyed them, so I like his writing a lot, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing where that one goes, because the second one was not what I was expecting, and so I'm excited to see what the third one brings. That one is supposed to come out on July 14th. The next one on this list, no surprise here, is Rights of the Starling. This is the second book to Shield of Sparrows by Debney Perry. That one is supposed to come out on April 7th as well. I'm really looking forward to it. The Shield of Sparrows is one of my top books of 2025 and I've absolutely loved it. So really looking forward to that one. The next one on this list is Nightshade Oak. This is by Molly O'Neill. I read Green Teeth this year by her. It was her debut book, and I really enjoyed it. I had a really good time with it. I think I since have sent it to my sister because I didn't have it on hand. But I really liked it. I thought it was really fun and just very different, kind of a cozy fantasy. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what else she comes out with. And so that one is supposed to come out on February 3rd. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's another one from Orbit Publishing, so I think it's going to be a good one. But I'm really looking forward to it. I don't even know what that one is about, to be honest. I think that I seen that it was coming out and that was all I needed to see. The next one that comes out right after my birthday on July 28th, and that is Sea of Charms. This is the third and final, I believe, final one by Sarah Beth Durst from the Spell Shop and the Enchanted Greenhouse series. This is the third installment to that, and I love Sarah Beth Durst. She is absolutely amazing. She is my fantasy writing, like her writing, it just, there's something about it that really speaks to me. I can really see things in my mind when I'm reading her writing, and I think that's something very, very special. It's something reminiscent of when I read Laini Taylor years ago that I've looked for ever since, and I did not find that same kind of a descriptive vibe in any books until I read Sarah Beth Durst's. So really, really looking forward to this one. I absolutely loved The Spell Shop. It was still one of my all-time favorite books. The Enchanted Greenhouse was also amazing. Not as good to me as The Spell Shop, but it was definitely a really good book, and I'm really looking forward to the third one in this series. So that one comes out on July 28th. And then on February 17th, The Astral Library is going to come out, and that is by Kate Quinn. Now, I love Kate Quinn. I love her World War II historical fiction. The Astral Library is, I believe, supposed to have a little bit of magical realism elements, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's definitely a spin from what I've read from her before, but I love her writing, and I think that her books are amazing. And the way that she writes female friendships and just strong female characters, I think is really, really great. So I'm really looking forward to picking up The Astral Library. And the ninth and final book that I have that is part of the new releases coming out in 2026 comes out on January 20th, and that one is The Elsewhere Express. This is by Samantha Sada Yombao. She wrote Watermoon. Now, I know that one was another one that was really controversial. Some people loved it and some people hated it, but I was one of the ones who absolutely loved that book. And I think it was so unique and so different from anything that I've read before, and I loved it. And so she has another book that is coming out at the end of January, and I plan on picking it up and hopefully reading it, maybe with my sister, maybe not. But I do plan on picking that one up at the end of January, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what she comes out with next as well. So those are the 9 new releases that I have on my 26 books for 2026. And now let's get into our other categories that I actually have the books right here. I have split them up into stacks to make this a little bit easier on us. So for 5 rereads, I have those right here. These are the books that I've read over the years. Some of them it's been longer and some of them are more recent reads, but they're ones that I really want to read again. So first and foremost, I actually just finished reading Somewhere Beyond the Sea, and I absolutely loved it, just like I did the first one, but it's been a minute since I read the first one. So one of them that I want to reread, because now I have my own copy and I can annotate it, is House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. Also, to go along with that, same thing, I have my own copy. I want to be able to annotate it if I want to, and that is Under the Whispering Door, also by T.J. Klune. I love these books. I read this one first. This was my very first book by him, and that just opened the floodgates. It really did. I read this one, and then I turned around and I read this one, and then I read In the Lives of Puppets, all within just like a few months of each other, I think. So these ones I pretty much read back to back, and it's been a while since I read either one of them, but I love the characters in this. I love the characters in this. I love the found family aspect, and he just writes such great cozy fantasy that I love them. They're so good. It's like just, you feel like you have all the kids from House in the Cerulean Sea just giving you like a great big hug when you're reading it, because they're so sweet, and I love these characters in both of these books. And Somewhere Beyond the Sea made me really want to revisit both of these a lot. So I have both of these books on my 26 books for 2026 for ones that I want to reread. Next up, we have some of my all-time favorite books that I want to reread them. So the first one is one that I read a handful of years ago. My husband twisted my arm for years trying to get me to reread this series, and I want to do a video project with rereading these books because I think they are extremely underhyped. I think that there's a lot of people that could enjoy these books that have just never heard of them. But the one that I'm gonna put on here, because I like to read the entire series, but the one that I'm gonna put on my 26 books for 2026 is Unwind. This is by Neal Shusterman. Now, I know you've probably heard of Neil Shusterman for his Arc of the Sith series, and I read the first book in that series, and I do need to continue and reread the first one, but this series came out quite a while ago. When did this come out? This series came out in 2007, so this book has been out for a long time. There are, I believe, 4 books in the series, maybe 5. I don't remember, to be completely honest, but they are so good. So the premise of this book, this is a dystopian young adult series, and it is set that these characters, there is Connor, who, oh goodness, let me just read this to you because it makes more sense this way. It's been a minute since I read these. It says the Second Civil War was fought over reproductive rights. The chilling resolution, life is inviolable from the moment of conception until age 13. Between the ages of 13 and 18, however, parents can have their child unwound, whereby all of the child's organs are transplanted into different donors, so life doesn't technically end. Connor is too difficult for his parents to control. Risa, a ward of the state, is not talented enough to be kept alive, and Lev is a Tith, a child conceived and raised to be unwound. Together, they may have a chance to escape and to survive. Now, this book I know would be a very controversial topic for a lot of people, but I think that the way that he explores this concept is extremely interesting because of the fact that it is so messed up when you're reading it. You're like, oh my God, how could people possibly even consider doing something like this? But he writes it to where you can see it. You can see it happening, which is really jacked up. But he writes this so well, and it's so interesting. And I loved these books. When I read The Measure by Nikki Erlich, I keep saying over and over that The Measure reminded me a little bit of this book, just because of the fact that it is such a crazy dystopian setting, but it's so similar to what could be in this day and age that it's just insane to think about. Like, you can't fully wrap your head around the idea because it's almost too close to home. He's too spot on. And I think that's what makes it really interesting. A lot of people loved The Measure, and I think a lot of people could really enjoy this. It might piss you off, but I think it's definitely an interesting concept. And it's one that I'm really looking forward to revisiting now that it's been a few years and rereading this whole series. It took me a long time to get through all these books for being YA, but they didn't feel YA. We have young kids, or 13 to 17 year olds as our main characters, but the things that they're having to deal with are a lot bigger than that. And I think that's a big part of why this book series worked so well. So I'm going to revisit this book this year, and I'm so much looking forward to it. I want to binge read this series, to be honest, because I didn't do it originally, but I'm excited to go back to it and revisit it. This book has seen some things. Okay, we've had this book on our shelves for a long time. My husband had it before we were even together. It's one of his favorite series of all time, and these books are amazing. So I'm really looking forward to revisiting this series at some point this year. My more recent reread, one of my favorite fantasies that I absolutely love, and I've never made it any further than this book in this universe. I tried, and I couldn't get into them, but one of my favorite fantasy books is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now, I tried reading Fellowship of the Ring, and I just couldn't get into it, but I loved The Hobbit. This book surprised me so much when I first read it, and I loved it. I turned around and had to watch all the movies and see all the differences and the connections and the little things, and I loved it. I thought it was so much fun, and I want to revisit this book again because it's been a long time since I've read it now, but I remember I was so surprised by it, and I absolutely fell in love with this book, and so I really want to go back to this one and read it again and enjoy it again. And I think it's going to be one that I'm going to love all over again now that I'm a little bit older and I have a little bit more of an idea of what I'm getting into. But I'm really looking forward to it. And the fifth and final book of my reads is one that I actually have not read since high school. So it's been a long time. It's been over 10 years since I've read this book. And now this is one of my favorite series of all time, or always has been. And I have not read this author in a long time. She has another series that I read after these, but it's been a long time since I've read these, and I've always been so nervous. I hope that I still love them. But that is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Now, I just said that Laini Taylor was always one of my favorite authors. She writes things where I could imagine them so well inside my head. I could see everything happening in this so much, and I looked for that for a really long time from another author until I found Sarah Beth Durst. I hope beyond hope that I still love this series as much as I used to. The problem is this is YA. I am now almost 30. I will be turning 30 this year. Wow, that's weird. But I will be turning 30 this year. And so there's the big difference between that. I know this is Insta Love. I know that there's like all those things, but I loved this originally. I reread all the books when a new one came out, and I just loved them. So I really want to revisit these and see if I still enjoy them as much as I always used to. I really hope that I do. I'm scared to death to read this, but I'm also looking forward to it. Okay, so now we have 6 authors that I want to read again. All of these authors I have read one book from, and I've loved it, but I've never gone back to these authors. So I am going to, well, I guess I should say there's one that I think I gave it 4 stars and I unhauled it, but still, I really enjoyed it. And I wanted to read something else by all of these authors. So these are the 6 books that I chose for this part of it. So the first one that we have is The Orphan Collector by Ellen Marie Wiseman. Now, I read The Lost Girls of Westerbrook, I think is what the other one was called that I read. And I wanted to read this one for a really, really long time. I found this one at the library sale this year and immediately had to pick it up. This one is set in 1918. It says a 13-year-old German immigrant, Pia Lang, longs to be far from Philadelphia's overcrowded streets and slums and from the anti-German sentiment that compelled her father to enlist in the U.S. Army, hoping to prove his loyalty. But an even more urgent threat has arrived. Spanish influenza is spreading through the city. Soon dead and dying are everywhere. With no food at home, Pia must venture out in search of supplies, leaving her infant twin brothers alone. And then, if I remember correctly, her brothers disappear. And she has to navigate that and find them. So I think it's going to be really hard-hitting. I think it's going to be just heartbreaking. And I'm really looking forward to reading something else from this author. So I'm adding this one to 26 books for 2026. Next up, I don't remember what I read by her, but I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. But I want to read Such a Quiet Place by Megan Miranda. I need to find some new thriller authors that I really enjoy. I feel like I've been in such a thriller slump here lately, and I want to change that. So I have 2 books by Megan Miranda on my shelves that I need to read. This one and Daughter of Mine, and I ended up going with this one. I don't remember what this one is about. I think it's one of those that like she gets accused of murder and then she leaves and then she comes back, but I don't remember for sure, so don't quote me on that. But I'm excited to read another one of her books. Hopefully I love it, but I don't know. With thrillers, you never really know, because like Riley Sager, it could be hit and miss. Alex Michaelides, hit and miss. I love Silent Patient, and I thought the next 2 books that he came out with were just okay. So I'm curious to see if I enjoy this one or not. Next up, I read Lady Tan's Circle of Women early on this year, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. That's by Lisa C., and so I want to read another book by her. The one that I'd happen to have on my shelves is The Island of Sea Women. I don't remember what this book is about, but I loved her writing. I thought it was super, super interesting, and I'm really looking forward to reading something else from her. Lady Tan's Circle of Women was about women and women's medicine in 14th century China, and it was such a crazy concept. I really enjoyed it. So I'm curious to see what this one is all about, if I enjoy it anywhere near as much as the other one, and hopefully this will be another author that I'm really like looking more into her backlist and her other writing, because I thought that the other one was fantastic. So really looking forward to picking this one up. Okay, the next book I have on my list, I read Atmosphere, my very first Taylor Jenkins read in 2025, and I loved it, and I gave it 5 stars. I have another one of her books on my TBR that I have not gotten to yet, and that is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Now, this is about a woman who was in Hollywood over however many years, and it's her telling her story about her time in Hollywood, and I am so curious about this one now, especially after reading Atmosphere with how much I loved it. So I'm going to add this one on. I hope that I love this one anywhere near as much as Atmosphere, but I'm definitely more excited about it. I know a lot of people love this book, and so I'm really looking forward to it. As much as I love the old movies, I hope that I do. I really hope that I do. This one has a lot of historical stuff on it, I've noticed. So the next one that I have is The Edge of Loss. This is by Christina McMorris. I read Sold on a Monday by this author a few years ago, and I cried with that book. I loved it so, so much, and I gave it to my dad, hoping that he would love it as much as I did. I think he did. And now I have this one. This one is set in Alcatraz in the 30s, and I believe one of the guards' daughters goes missing, and they have to talk to one of the prisoners in order to try and figure out what happened to her. I'm so nervous about this. I've put this on TBRs, I've put this on 25 books, I've put this in a lot of different things, and I still have not read it yet. So I need to, because I remember loving Sold on a Monday. It was so good. I've stepped away from historical fiction a lot the last couple of years, but I need to get back into it and see if I still enjoy it as much as I always used to, because I have a lot of books on my TBR that I need to get to that are historical. So I'm excited, I'm nervous, but I need to get to this book this year. I have to. And last but not least, in October, I read The Haunting of Ashburn House by Darcy Coates, and I absolutely loved it. So now I really want to read more from this author, and so I have Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. This one I think is a secluded, yes. She remembers the cold, she remembers abandoned cars and children's toys littered across the road, she remembers dark shapes in the snow and a terror she can't explain, and then nothing. When she wakes, aching and afraid, in a stranger's gothic home, he tells her she was in an accident. He claims he saved her. Claire wants to leave, but a vicious snowstorm has blanketed the world in white, trapping them together, and there's nothing she can do but wait. It sounds so good, and I'm so curious to see what she does with the atmosphere in this book. I think it could be a really big hit for me, just that really isolated setting, and I'm so excited to read this. I want to get to this sooner rather than later, just because of the cold and snow and being in December right now. I really want to get to this one. It's not cold and snowy out right now. You would not think it's December here, but I do really want to get to this one, hopefully very, very soon. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope that I love this one just as much as I read Haunting of Ashburn House, and hopefully I'll love it. Okay, now we are on to some intimidating books. These are 4 books that I've been putting off that I really want to read, and I keep putting them off and I haven't read them yet. So this is the year for it. We're gonna do rereads. We are gonna do reading authors again. We are gonna do new releases, and we are also gonna do some books that I've been putting off for a long time. The first one is one that I haven't been putting off for an excessively long time, but I still need to read it, and that is Deepest Blue. This is by Sarah Beth Durst. This is a spin-off standalone from the Queens of Renthia series, the first one being, or Tales of Renthia. The first one in that series is Queen of Blood. I loved this world. I loved the magic system. I thought it was all super duper interesting. This one is following one of the other countries, islands, in this same world. So it's totally separate, but it's in the same like magic system, it's in the same world. So I'm really curious about it. I don't want it to be over. And I think like I have a hard time like starting this series, but once I start them, I fly through them and I absolutely love them. Again, Sarah Beth Durst, her writing is unmatched to me, and I can't wait. I'm so excited for it, but I'm scared. So I'm gonna put this one on here. The next one, I read from this author. I have liked them, and then I haven't liked them, and I'm really nervous, and I keep putting it off, but I have multiple of her books that I need to read. So I'm going to add on Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I originally read Six of Crows, and I loved it. Then I came back to it this year, and I didn't care for it, but I have this one, and I have The Familiar on my shelves, and I haven't read them yet, and I need to. I need to see if I like them. I need to see if I should keep getting them, if I should keep having them on my shelves. This one is Dark Academia, and that's all I remember about it, but I need to read this one. I know this one is an adult book, as far as I know, and so I want to try it. I want to try it and see if I still like her writing or not, and so we'll see. I'm very nervous about this one. Very, very nervous about this one. The next 2 are some really chunky ones. That's part of the reason why I've been putting them off, but they're ones that I really do want to read, and I really am looking forward to. So the first one is Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. I looked at this one on Book Outlet for such a long time. I wanted to try it, I wanted to read it, but I just never did. And then I finally bought it, and I saw how big it was, And I'm like, oh my God. So this one, it says, a stunning work of historical fantasy and the first in the Talents trilogy, J. M. Muro's Ordinary Monsters introduces readers to the dark, labyrinthian world of the Talents. England, 1882. In Victorian London, two children with mysterious powers are hunted by a figure of darkness. Charlie Ovid, despite a brutal childhood, doesn't have a scar on him. His body heals itself whether he wants it to or not. Marlowe, a foundling from a railway freight car, shines with a strange bluish light and can melt or mend flesh. When a jaded female detective named Alice Quick is recruited to escort them to safety, all three begin a journey into the nature of difference, belonging, and the shadowy edges of the monstrous. What follows is a story of wonder and betrayal from the gaslit streets of London and the wooden theaters of Meiji-era Tokyo to an eerie estate outside Edinburgh where other children with gifts, the Talents, have been gathered. There, the world of the dead and the world of the living threaten to collide, and as secrets within the Institute unfurl, Marlowe, Charlie, and the rest of the Talents will discover the truth about their abilities and the natures of what is stalking them, and seek to find what truly defines a monster. Riveting in its scope and exquisitely written, Ordinary Monsters presents a catastrophic vision of the Victorian world and the gifted broken children who must save it. So it sounds really, really interesting. Kind of gives me vibes of like a less cozy cerulean sea. So I want to try it. I want to see if I love this. And I really, really hope that I do. I know that there is the second book. I just don't have it. So if I have it, or if I love this, then I'll get the next one and I could continue on with the series. But I want to see if I like the first one first before I move on. And last up, for the books that I have been putting off, is another really, really chunky one. And I love the cover, and I really want to try this author, but I'm scared. And that is Legacy of Ash by Matthew Ward. And I love this cover. I think it's stunning. And it says, a shadow has fallen over the Tressian Republic, but as Tressia falls, heroes rise. Victor Akadra is the Republic's champion, a warrior without equal. He also hides a secret that would see him burned as a heretic. Jasiri Trellin is Victor's sworn enemy, a political prisoner. He dreams of reigniting his mother's failed rebellion. Kalen Trellin, Jasiri's sister, seeks only to break free of their tarnished legacy, to escape the expectations and prejudice that haunt the family name. As war spreads across the Republic, they must set aside their differences in order to save their homeland. However, decades of bad blood are not easily forgotten, and victory will demand a darker price than any of them could have imagined. So I'm really curious to try it. Hopefully this is one that I could have my husband read as well. He likes the high fantasy, but he likes the more like, I guess, realistic type stuff, like not as much magic stuff in them. So I'm really curious to see what this one is about, see if I like it, and hopefully it'll be one that he enjoys too. This one does have the entire series out, and so I wanted to try the first one. This one's also really big. This one is 750 pages. So it's really, really long, but I'm really curious to try it. I really hope that I enjoy it, and so that's why I'm adding it onto this list, just to kind of kick me in the butt into getting it going, getting it read. All right, and my final two are ones that I've gotten more recently that I'm really, really excited to pick up this year in 2026. So the first one is Carnival of Curiosities by Amy Gibbs. This one is a historical fantasy that is set around the circus, and there are magical things happening in this circus. And I saw this one when it very, very first came out for sale in an indie bookstore, and it really caught my eye, but I decided to wait, and I never picked it up. So now I have it, and I'm really, really excited to read it. It's set in Victorian London, and stuff with carnivals just always seems to call to me. So I'm really excited to pick this one up, especially if there's fantastical elements. I'm super excited for it. The other one is another one that I've wanted to get for a really long time, like ever since it came out, and I never did, but that is Dead 11 by Jimmy Giuliano. I don't even remember what this one is about. I think it's like, they think that they're in the 90s. Yeah, it says, everyone has a strange obsession with the year 1994. A newcomer arrives hoping to learn the truth about her son's death. So I think it's gonna have some really fun vibes, like the 90s stuff, and I hope that I love this. I love this cover, this whole like damaged VCR, like VHS tape thing. I am so into that. I love that on books, and I'm so excited to read this. It's blurbed by R.L. Stine, which I think is super fun for all of us that are for 90s kids that like, you know, R.L. Stine and Goosebumps was such a staple as kids for books and movies and everything else. And so I think that's really, really fun. And so I'm really, really looking forward to reading this book. I hope it's one that I absolutely love. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to pick this one up. Okay guys, that is it. That is the end of my 26 books for 2026. Are there any of these that you were looking forward to? Any of these that you have read, loved, hated? I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.